Have you ever felt lost, following every piece of advice around you, only to realize you're farther from your destination than when you started? Imagine chasing answers everywhere, asking friends, reading blogs, listening to social media, trying every tip, but still ending up confused, exhausted, and hopeless. This is the story of a traveler who learned the hard way that trusting people alone can lead you astray, and why looking up to something greater can guide you home. There was once a traveler, a young man full of hope and ambition. He dreamed of reaching a distant mountain, a place said to hold peace, opportunity, and fulfillment. It wasn't just any mountain. It was the kind of place people spoke of in whispers, like a secret only those who dared to pursue could find. He packed his bag, filled with maps, a small compass, and hope in his heart, and set off at dawn. Early in his journey, he met a merchant at the side of a dusty road. The merchant saw the traveler's enthusiasm and offered advice. "Go left," he said confidently. "It is shorter and safer, and you will reach the mountain faster." Thanking him, the traveler followed the path. A few hours later, he came across a group of villagers. One of them noticed his puzzled expression and laughed gently. "The merchant lied," the villagers said. "If you truly want to reach the mountain, go right. The left path will take you to a swamp, and you'll waste days there. The right is smoother and prettier, with clear skies to guide you." The traveler was torn. Should he trust the merchant or the villagers? Unsure, he decided to try the villagers' advice and change direction. Days went by, and the sun rose and fell like a slow, watchful guardian. Yet every evening, he found himself in open fields that looked strangely familiar, fields he thought he had already crossed. Confusion settled in, and doubt began to creep into his heart. Still, he tried again. He asked another traveler he met on the road. "No, don't go left or right," the stranger said. "The mountain is straight ahead. Just keep walking through the forest. Forget the paths others have suggested." The traveler sighed. Every step he took seemed to undo the progress of the day before. He felt frustration building like a storm cloud, threatening to drown his hope. At night, he lay under the sky, staring at the stars, feeling both weary and lost. He wondered if he was chasing the wrong advice, trusting the wrong people. It was then that he noticed something he had been ignoring: the stars above. They weren't shouting conflicting directions. They weren't changing their minds or arguing about which path was better. They simply shone, steady and unwavering. They had been there all along, quietly guiding the world below, waiting for someone to pay attention. The traveler decided to try something different. Instead of asking for advice, he looked up, trusting the stars to guide him. Slowly, carefully, he began walking in the direction they pointed. Nights became his teacher, the moon lighting his steps, and the stars offering steady guidance. During the day, he trusted the path illuminated in his heart, feeling a new sense of peace as he walked. Along the way, he faced challenges. Sometimes the ground was uneven, with sharp rocks and thorny bushes threatening to slow him down. Other times, rain poured from dark clouds, soaking him and making the path slippery. He felt the temptation to ask people for directions again, to abandon the stars and seek quick solutions. But each time he remembered the confusion and frustration of the past. He reminded himself that the steady light above was more reliable than the noisy voices below. As days passed, he began to notice small signs of encouragement: birds flying in the direction he was walking, streams of clear water guiding him to fresh paths, and gentle winds that seemed to push him forward. He realized these were not coincidences. They were reminders that trusting the right guidance would always lead him to where he needed to be. By now, he had met other travelers on the road, many of whom were still lost. They begged him for advice, asking, "Which way is the right path?" He smiled gently, but stayed true to what he had learned. "Follow the light that doesn't change," he said, pointing upward. "Trust what has always been faithful, and your steps will not fail you." Finally, after weeks of walking and learning, he arrived at the mountain. It stood taller than he had imagined, shining with a calm majesty that made him catch his breath. The journey had been long, difficult, and full of doubts, but the moment he reached the foot of the mountain, he felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Every step, every misdirection, every moment of confusion had taught him something invaluable. Human advice can be helpful at times, but it is inconsistent and often limited. True guidance comes from the source that never fails, the light that never wavers. Looking back on the fields he had wandered, the paths he had tried and abandoned, the faces that had offered conflicting advice, he realized something profound. Life is full of voices, opinions, and people telling you what to do. Some of it may be well-meaning, but it can lead you off course if you rely on it blindly. Trusting in something higher, something constant, like God, allows you to navigate life's uncertainties with clarity and peace. The traveler understood that trusting God doesn't mean ignoring wisdom entirely. It means choosing guidance that is steady, consistent, and true above all else. It means learning to listen to that quiet voice, the one that doesn't change when circumstances change, and having the courage to follow it even when the world around you shouts otherwise. Moral of the story: life can be confusing, filled with opinions, trends, and advice from everyone around us. People can mislead, disappoint, or give conflicting directions. But God's guidance is constant, unchanging, and reliable. When you learn to trust Him above all else, your steps will find the right path, and your heart will find peace. Remember, sometimes the answers are above us, shining quietly, waiting for us to look up. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more life lessons, and share it with someone who needs a gentle reminder to trust the right guidance. Your journey may be confusing, but the light that never fails is always there, waiting for you to follow it.